Everything boils down to trust. But what happens if you actually broke the trust? What will you do as a leader? Make amends. How about just keep quiet? Don't say anything. You're the leader, what's the big deal? Just keep quiet. Cannot? No. Why no? What will happen? Nothing happened. I'm the leader. No one dare to say anything about me. Doesn't matter. Okay the most lose face. But when you own up, like one of our brothers said, you become a better leader. Initially, sure, you have to earn back that trust. Just like couples. Sometimes the trust is broken, but take a time to amend, to come back. But people will respect you. People will respect you. If you're humble enough to say, hey guys, I messed up. I'm sorry, I messed up. I caused all this pain for everyone. Please forgive me. So, Jesus said, whoever can be trusted with very little can also be trusted with much. And whoever is dishonest with very little will also be dishonest with much. So I'm going to walk you through a little bit about Jesus and the Pharisees. I'm going to focus on Jesus. Whatever he does supports that trust climate. But the Pharisees on the other side supports defensive climate. So when you have a defensive stance, what it means is that you are afraid something is going to happen to you. That's why you fence up, you build your armory and all that, right? Whereas if Jesus is not afraid, he just go. He is doing it from the support standpoint. So first one is equality. Look at Jesus and the lady in the well. The Samaritans, from the Jews' standpoint, were the outcasts because they intermarry. But when Jesus was at the well, he treated her like any other person. He didn't put up, hey, please stay far away from me because you're a Samaritan. No. He sat down with her and he said, if you only knew the gift of God who you're asking, ask me, I will have given you living water. So Jesus came from that equality standpoint. Everyone he treated same. Same when he was looking for the 4 fishermen brothers, Peter, Andrew, James and John. So when he chose the fishermen to be his apostles, he didn't say, hey friend, show me your cert. What, you got a diploma or what? He asked Peter, hey friend, show me your degree. He didn't. He saw into the heart of the people and he says, okay, come. And then he already had it in mind where he would develop them into great men. The next we talk about is empathy. Feeling and caring. So what did Jesus do? See the leper? The leper came up to him and said, will you heal me? The leper said, if you choose, you can make me clean. And Jesus said, sure, be clean. Jesus was a person of empathy. Son of God, King of Kings, Lord of Lords, came down as a babe to sacrifice himself for us. But he walked this earth. The person of integrity, person of empathy, person of, there's so much things about Jesus that we can learn. Next, we talk about problem orientation, which means that he's focusing on the problem. So when the blind man asked Jesus, he was shouting for him, and Jesus asked him in Matthew 20, what do you want me to do for you? He focused on the problem. The Pharisees have a different thing. Pharisees are always focusing on something else. They're always looking at controlling people, limiting their behaviors. From 10 commandments, it became 600 plus rules. Can you imagine that? So Jesus focused on the problem, solve it, move on. Pharisees ask, why do you eat and drink with tax collectors? What's the, so they're always thinking, wow, they're always trying to catch him. And Jesus said, it's not the healthy who need a doctor, but the sick. I have not come to call the righteous, but I've come to call on sinners. And the next one is what we call description, about facts, parables, stories. Jesus keeps it open-ended. The Pharisees always jump to conclusion because they're always evaluating people. You see the difference? He teaches them in parables, but he lets them make the decision. Tells them about the lost coin, etc. They make the decision. He's not going to impose on us. Similarly, Jesus is not going to come and say, you must believe in me. No, he gives us our free will. But he will stand at the door of your heart knocking. Until you open your heart to him, then he will come in. In other words, he wants you to give him permission to come in. Without that, he won't impose on us. God has given us free will. Next is what we call spontaneity, which is openness. Whereas the Pharisees are always having a strategy. They're always trying to manipulate. And so the centurion came to Jesus and he said, can you heal my slave who is sick? Don't need to come to my house. Just say the word. And that's where we get our antiphon, right? Just say the word and my servant will be healed. When I tell my people go, they go. Because he uses positional leadership. But the centurion tells Jesus, and Jesus is open enough to say, okay. I'll do what you request. And lastly, they call it provisionalism, which is the possibilities, all right? The Pharisees always keep it very rigid. Whereas Jesus said, okay. So he taught about the sower, right? The seeds. Some fall on rocky ground, some fall among the thorns, some fall on fertile soil. He taught them about that, but he didn't insist. He let them decide. Do you want your seed to fall on rocky ground? This is the consequences. You want your seed to fall on fertile soil? This is the consequence. He left it to them. He did not impose on them. He could have said, I am God, do it this way. But again, we're just becoming like slaves now, follow him without a free will.